working, you complaining, feel the pressure crashing over me. I understand you're losing patience, cause it feels like an eternity. Just think of the foreign cars and those golden stars on the sidewalk. We'll throw all the bills away, cause that shit's all paid. It's exciting. So won't you tell me, what are you thinking? Let me pick apart your mind. If you feel the way I do, tell me, won't you tell me now? Won't you tell me now? Won't you tell me now? You've been telling all your friends that I don't treat you like you think I should. But you know that, girl, I warned you that this life with me is not secure. Just think of the foreign cars and those golden stars on the sidewalk. We'll throw all the bills away, cause that shit's all paid. It's exciting. So won't you tell me, what are you thinking? Let me pick apart your mind. If you feel the way I do, tell me, won't you tell me now? Won't you tell me now? Won't you tell me now? You say you're tired, and I say, darling, it's alright. The sun will come out.
Good evening, everyone. We're once again back on the EU server in the autumn season. This is not a Professional Skill Tournament, however. This is Professionals Tournament, and I'm so happy to be invited to stream the Professionals Tournament. There are a lot of streamers tonight. Six of us will be streaming in English, so I'm not expecting the kind of viewership I was getting on the Apex server, but let's hope we will get some audience tonight as we will follow Raid, and they are going to be an interesting team to watch, but we will go through the slides as we progress. And tonight we will be seeing the first two rounds on the EU server. This is the Professionals Tournament format, so both stage 1 and 2 will be in a round robin series, so altogether this is a double round robin format. The name itself you might not recognize, but if you watch football, if you follow football, especially Serenity people, Serenity players, they are fans of football, of course. Then it's just the same as a league system, So think of the Premier League. They are using the double round robin system. So with that being explained, you automatically know that each team will play the other 7 teams for this bracket here, and the top 4 will advance to the next round based on the number of round wins. However, if there are teams that have the same number of round wins or points as Wargaming calls it, what will happen is that we will follow this the following tiebreaker rules. First of all, we will take a look at the head-to-head round wins. After that, we will take a look at the head-to-head match wins. Following on, we will be seeing the total match wins, and then finally the battle duration. And this is a table that will be updated as the stream progresses, as the Professionals Tournament progresses. So take a look at the second column. This is the the first criterion that will decide the final placings of the 8 teams. If there are teams with the same number of round wins, then we'll take a look at the next column, and if that column still cannot decide the placings, we take a look at the next column, and so on and so forth. So basically, it's just the most important column. It's just the importance of the column ranked from left to right, with left being the most important criterion. The abbreviations here, as I would define here now. RW is just the number of round wins. For wargaming, 1 round win will translate to 3 points. However, we don't have a tie in this game. So the multiplication of multiplication by 3 is not going to matter a lot anyway. And then we have HTH, which is the head-to-head round wins, which means, for example, if Egpa and Jukes are tied with round wins, if Egpa wins against Jukes 2 times, they will be above Jukes, and this is what I call by head-to-head round wins, because Egpa will have 2 head-to-head round wins. If that cannot be decided, if both them have 1 head-to-head round win each, then we will take a look at the HTHM head-to-head match wins. And that is defined, a match is defined as a battle. So there are 4, so each team will have to win 4 matches in order to win the fixture or the round. So this is how it is defined by a match win, or by a match. And obviously MW is match wins, but this is going to be the total number of match wins throughout the entire tournament. So with that being out of the way, hopefully that's going to be quite clear. We take a look at the timeline. This is the schedule. We are currently in the Professionals Tournament. Tomorrow marks the beginning of the Challengers Tournament and the Lower Echelon Championship. And you might have already known that the dates of Blitz Ultimate Cup has already been released. For the EU server, we are going to be seeing the Blitz Ultimate Cup on the EU server being on the 2nd and the 3rd of December. Will I be streaming the EU server during these 2 days? We will see. But currently the EU server is oversubscribed, so there's a chance I won't be following the EU server in the Blitz Ultimate Cup. But so that's why I'm putting more attention onto the Apex server this season, because as you might know, earlier today it's only me streaming in English, so good chance that I will be in the Blitz Ultimate Cup for the Apex server, but you never know if there are other streamers that will hop in and stream the server. With that also out of the way, this is the November schedule. You will expect streams starting from today until the 21st of November. It will be an endurance battle, so good luck to me. Hopefully I can persevere until the end. Because I'm streaming both servers, so it's going to be a heck of a job for me. But it's that time of the year, so anyway, we have the bracket. These are the 4 matches that will be streamed today, but there will be streamers following, so I'm going to update this bracket graphic very quickly. The maps will begin with Camstia, Dynasty's Pearl, Middleburg, and finally Fort Despair. So these are the same maps as the Apex server. Both Rolling and I will follow Jokes vs Raid. For Serenity versus a Gravitas team, Eminet will be streaming that match. As for Fujit, he will be streaming Spitrenary team versus the Pink team. Finally, we have APA versus Ikra. That will be followed by Avery or Peter and 9-0. For me, this is the schedule for the first round. We will go to the lounge and see the fights for the second round. After that, we'll take a look at the power ratings. So this is the top 16 teams so far. The current top 8 is mostly in the top 8 of power rating, with the exception of Ray, that is just outside of the top 8. There were a lot of twists and turns this season with the EU server. You might ask, where is Endgame? Endgame unfortunately was barred from participating the professionals tournament because they were found to have violated the tournament regulations, and that is why they are not here. They were originally in the 8th position, and they were originally in the professionals tournament. Same goes to Israel, which was also originally in the professionals tournament, but they were found to be guilty of breaking the tournament regulations, which they tried hard to appeal, but I don't think that was successful in the end. Also, Phoenix was in the Challengers tournament, but they were also found to be guilty of violating tournament regulations. So, in the end, we have 2 substitute teams in the Professionals tournament and 3 substitute teams in the Challengers tournament. And these 3 substitute teams for the Challengers tournament will be Legion, TQT, and also Vale. In the end, Vale got in. And Vale had some of the worst seeding imaginable this season, so I can't blame them for not getting into the top 16. They had to have a really good day, but I also feel for Win because they also had some terrible seeding. And they didn't have a lot of luck in the 4 Pro Skill tournaments. I wish they were in the Challengers tournament, which will definitely increase the standard in the Challengers tournament. They will be competing in the lower echelon championship, where I think they are heavy favorites of winning that outright. Vale also are favorites of winning the Challengers tournament, but since Vale's chances in the top 16 are quite low, some of the core members have left to the disappointment of a couple of players in Vale as well. But they will try hard to prove themselves, and hopefully they will get a good result in the end. I think the power rating of Vale might not reflect the true quality in the end, but that could very well change, in my opinion. So, me following Raid, they were predicted to finish 8th in the professional tournament, but with 6 days of training, they could very well do an amazing job in this professional tournament. They are a wild card. I won't rule them out yet, and you don't want to underestimate them. But the top 4 schemes heavily in favor of Serenity team, APA Serenity, and the Pink team. Ekra, I think, could challenge for the top 4, and I don't think we have seen the best of Gravitas team yet, because their seeding is quite favorable during the previous skill tournament, so we haven't seen the best of them yet, and this tournament is going to be the tournament that they will have to prove themselves in. Jokes is a great team. They've performed well in the Blitz Premier Cup, and in the previous skill tournament they have done a tremendous job in beating First Alliance, which was also barred from participating in the autumn season, which but still it's an important win that and they've shown some really great games. So Jokes could also be challenging for that top 4 too. I won't rule them out as well. And hope Raid, they are able to get some wins here and there, and maybe they can surprise us with some round wins. You never know. And here are the maps for the 2022 summer season without Ghost Factory and Hellas. So there are 22 maps altogether, but you know the maps already that will be happening tonight. So Thomas Peterson has made the following predictions, and Thomas Peterson is being very brutal with the scoreline prediction. They are predicting Serenity, BPS, Serenity team and APA to win 4-0 in their respective fixtures. I don't think that's the end result. I think the games will be a lot closer than what Thomas Peterson is suggesting at the moment. I think the main reason why Thomas Peterson is predicting such a big gap here is because we haven't had enough data to kind of calibrate the the performance between the top 8 teams, and this is why you're seeing such a huge you're seeing some weird results, some weird odds. I think this is going to be calibrated as the professional tournament progresses, and the scoreline prediction will very much be a lot closer than it's been shown at the moment. However, the game we're following tonight, Jokes is predicted to win Raid for free. Is it the case? We'll find out soon. Okay, so here we are. We are now going to be going into the room. But before I do that, let me just... you know, okay, let me just brief you what's going to happen. As of now, I don't think the second stage has been drawn, so we will have to wait until later tonight when that is drawn. I think I will pay Tolian if that is not drawn by the end of tomorrow. She has promised that the games will be drawn tonight, so hopefully we will see the schedule of stage 2. Meanwhile, you have the leaderboard on the top right hand corner, and you have the fixture that is nicely displayed on the left. So I don't have much to add. We will go into the room right now, and we will be seeing Jokes versus Raid on Camp Steer. Jokes, we're going to be seeing quadruple Type 71s, double IS7s, and 1 T100 LTs with Raid, going for double VK 90.01p, double Type 71, 1 Sheridan, 1 T100 LT, and a 60 TP. Will Jokes get a win first on Camp Steer, or will Raid do that? I'm going to say hello to everyone. Thanks for tuning to the stream. I believe the best matches for tonight are on Fujit's stream, every stream, and also 9-0 stream. So I would very much advise you to watch these streams if you want to see the closest games, but also closest games and also some top level games. But this is also of high quality and high finesse, and they will be very close too. These two teams are closely matched. So while you're following, while you might want to follow the streams of other streamers, I will be really happy if you stay behind and follow my streamer. Anyway, let's get that out of the way. Jokes from the north side will go to mostly A with Raid. From the south side will also go mostly to A. So we're seeing Messi taking this route as what was done earlier by, I think, RN on the Apex server. So this is common knowledge for the top teams now on how to get up and spot the Jokes team going into A, and this is crucial information for Messi. Raid will know where Jokes is, and Nissi would try to get spots, and I think not spotting anything on the right hand side would prove that Jokes is going to send most of their tanks to A. And Jokes is going straight in, and I'm not sure if that's the best idea. They don't have the high ground, so that can be bad news for Jokes. Messi also has taken a hit, but Jokes have made no hesitation in pushing blue. And this is going to be a worthwhile strategy though. It's this predictable. It's all about focus fire, and Ray definitely needs to get the tanks out of the way. And blue is the first tank out. Venu is also quite low. Hit points is in favor of Raid, but Raid also got 2 caps as well. Sick is trying to go in, but Messi is trying to run away. With Venu being taken out, this has descended into Bedlam, with Bawan going to be the next focus. Messi is being killed by Norman. This is an important kill. Narrow is a one-shot. Baron also a one-shot. It's neck and neck. It's 6 versus 4. 5 versus 4 now. The numerical advantage of Jukes could propel themselves to victory if Raid isn't able to get more tanks down, but they got Tiktaku down. That's very important indeed. El Polaco bounces onto Old School, but Marcinek gets Old School out of the way. And we can see a brawl fest happening around Drizzle and Norman. And Drizzle, great shot onto Norman, but Norman also puts a good shot onto Drizzle. This is an important fight. Can Drizzle get on top of this? Meanwhile, Sick and Nixie is trying to stay alive as much as they could, so we pretty much rely on the 1 versus 1 situation here. And Drizzle with fewer hit points than Norman, he has to bounce some shots in order to survive this 1 versus 1 fight. But Norman is able to put every shot in, so Drizzle probably will lose this fight. And Sick needs to put some shells onto Norman as well, but Drizzle is paying no attention to Norman because Drizzle is down to a one-shot now. El Polaco is dead. This has turned into a 3 versus 3, and things could actually turn in favor of Raid, actually. This is not over yet, surely. But Raid, only Sick is pretty much the effective tank on the battlefield. And that's a miss onto Marcinek as well. This is surely going to Jokes now. I can't see them losing this one. Well done to Jokes. It was really intense indeed. It was so chaotic. It's really down to the wire, really down to the shots, whether they have gone in or not. But the elephant in the room, however, is the caps. Nixie is the 200 LT still alive on the battlefield, and Jokes got no caps at all. This can be a huge problem, and if Jokes loses some more tanks, that could be a tragedy. And we will follow Nixie. He might be able to spot some tanks going into B. He spotted up Sinkievnika, who puts out a shot here. And Norman gets into B with impunity. Unless Nixie is able to spot Norman up. But he isn't able to do so. Nixie is trying to run away. But even if Raid doesn't get B, I think they could still win this one. Unless Jokes gets into C. But there are only 3 minutes left to go. This can still go pretty much every which way. Raid, they have to hope they can survive in the following 2.5 minutes. This is going to be really tight. But Norman has been spotted. Nixie needs to put a shell onto Norman, but it's a miss, sadly. Oh, Norman is now going in. Oh, another bounce from Nixie. Nixie does not want to bounce the shots though. Norman is not a one-shot. He has to put a couple of shots in, but Sinkievnika has been spotted. Will trap Nixie. Nixie has nowhere to go. Can he survive for another 2 minutes or so? Not sure, but Sinkievnika misses that shell. Nixie survives for another day. Jokes. Marcinek might be looking to get into A. Nixie is now spotted, and Sinkievnika misses. Oh my lord. Jokes. If they keep on missing their shells, this will not be good. But Norman will make sure Nixie will not survive here on Campsteer. That is really close in the end, but Jokes prevailed, and it was pretty much down to the focus fire. And well, not really down to focus fire. Both teams have decent focus fire, but it was really chaotic in the end, and it was very hard to call for focus, to be honest with you. And the focus fire discipline for both teams is pretty much similar, so it's not really down to that. What it's really down to would be the shot efficiency, whether they are able to put all the shells in, and it seems Strix has done a slightly better job in that department. And that is what separates these two teams at the moment. Jokes will win 1-0. Well done to Jokes. And I mean, that push coming down A is really gutsy. But I like how they committed to that and did not look back at all. And this is what we like to see for teams. We like to see teams committing to their strategies, have lots of faith with their strategies, and sometimes if you commit to your strategies, it will pay off. And this is exactly what we are seeing at the moment. Well done to Jokes. Now they're up 1-0. Now we are going to be seeing Jokes with triple Type 71s, double T100 LTs, and double IS7s, with Raid going with a Gorilla. Interesting choice here. Double Type 71s, and they're going back with a combination of a Sheridan 62P200 LT and finally Blaster in the VK19.01P. Back on Camp Steer, what will both teams do this time? Will Jokes continue to be that aggressive, or will they have a sudden change in the playstyle? We will find out now. This time, Jokes is going to commit their forces. They're going to commit some forces over to C, and they're not going en masse to A. Meanwhile, Raid, they're once again going to A, but with Sick. Ah, I see what Raid is trying to do. Are they going to boost that Gorilla up this hill? This is going to be an amazing boost, or is it not? No, they're not going to boost that Gorilla up, so this is disappointing. I demand refund now. This is not what I pay for. Raid. That's not good enough, is it? I'm just joking, okay? Don't take it seriously. Jokes, they got while I was joking, Jokes got B and they got a cap lead, so this is not going to be a campy match, but I mean the last match isn't campy at all. So, oh no, Nixie takes a hit. That's not good here because now Nixie's down to 1,000 hit points, and this is an important position to get spots and also to get shots from above. If Nixie keeps on getting shut down, then that's pretty much one tank out of the way, pretty much. So you don't want that to happen, do you? Old School hanging around this area. I think he will approach this slowly. He is potentially trying to get B back, but in the meantime we have A already captured by Raid. That brings them one tank away from flipping the hip cap points. But Drizzle gets spotted and gets tagged and gets some hits. Not good here for Raid. They're dropping a substantial amount of hit points already. Jokes not dropping any hit points, and they have more than 1,000 hit points of advantage. So this is going to be interesting. Messi spotted, Martinez spotted, but Messi takes a hit. If Raid continues to drop hit points like that, and already they are now under a 2,000 hit point of deficit, then this is going to be a tall order for Raid. And this is exactly the situation you don't want to be in. Camp Steer is about with a rate of 4 cap points per 2 seconds here. So we still have some time for Raid to respawn, but I don't think we will use up all the 4 minutes here. We can do some quick maths. So we are pretty much relying on about 200 more seconds to go. So that's just about 3 more minutes to go for for Jokes to win the match outright. But how about the time that Raid needs that can use to figure out where Jokes is and rotate? We're really talking about 100 seconds, so pretty much a minute and a half or thereabouts before they absolutely have to make a push. But I think they are absolutely already making a push. It relies on Tiktaku whether he can reset the bases. Ah, no! What have you done, Tiktaku? That was not a good shot. That was a bounce, and I think Raid could get B. And it is going to be Tiktaku getting the cap reset, but he is paying for this. Oh, that's not a good shot from Tiktaku, and he has allowed Raid to obtain B. This means Raid now has will have the cap advantage, but they're still losing hit points. So this is all on Jukes to make a rotation. But I also like that Raid is sharing the hit points. So either way, Jukes will have a hard time in making that push, and I think they will have to blame Tiktaku for failing to reset the cap twice. And Jokes will have to figure out a way to rotate now. Blue is in deep trouble. We could see a push coming from this area, but Norman is getting shot at. It's not the time for Jokes to hesitate. It's time for them to levitate. They have to come in and get the tanks out of the way. Raid is making use of their positioning advantage to bleed Jokes, but the hit points are still in favor of Jokes, so they absolutely have to get some tanks out. They got old school out, and they're certainly looking for Blue out of the way, and Blue is trying to get away from this quagmire. And Norman will drop into the river fishing for Ventium, but we also have Blue down, Norman down. Not sure what happened to Norman down here. I think that was a misplay. But 6 versus 5 now. Hit points are neck and neck. Polacco gets C, but Jokes also got B back. So the Capus are going to take back in favor of Jokes. This is really close, tantalizingly close, but Vanu gets shut down by Nixie. Well done here. Sinker and Nika gets shut down as well. 4 versus 5 now. Raid steadily bring back the hit point pool advantage. Do they have time to win this one by caps? If they are able to kill one tank, I'm very sure they could do that. And all Jokes needs to do is to kill a tank, but Machinet tries to get A. This is going to be good. But Titaku is going to be the apparent weakness here. This is still anyone's game to call. I don't know what to expect here. Bow 1 is going to be important, but we'll go back to Titaku. Titaku, the main objective for Jokes is that Titaku absolutely needs to survive. But both Nixie and Titaku misses their shells. So Titaku bounces the shells, but Titaku is not out. If Raid gets C, I don't know, it could go back to Raid's favor. But Jokes, they really need the tank out of the way, but where is the other tank? El Polaco up there. And I don't know, he has to lose some hit points, shed some hit points away. Oh, that's an important kill right here. Nixie now 1 versus 1 against Bow 1. Jokes, oh, that's a great kill onto Bow 1 by Sick. This is still anyone's game. 30 more seconds to go. Raid so close on winning this one, and I think Raid gets this. Raid gets this one by caps because they got B. This was so close. I have to emphasize that once again. This is really close. Edge of the seat stuff, and Raid fought really hard and bring this back, and I really love how Raid gets the positional advantage. And I think Jokes Titaku has a terrible game, a terrible match here. He has to forget that immediately. This is not the time to go on tilt and contemplate about that match. Everyone has good days and bad days. It so happens that it's a bad day for Titaku so far. Maybe he will pick back up the form, or maybe we'll see a substitution. But I think he was a huge reason why Jokes was not able to get a win. But it's yeah. But let's not dwell on that too long, because we are now going to be seeing some changes, and we're going to be seeing Raid going for double Type 71s, double IS4s, double VK, and then WZ113s, with Jokes going for quintuple Type 71, VK72, and Bow on potentially in a T100 LT. Well done to Raid. That is what we want to say. We want to see both teams going up evenly. But whoever wins this round will set a good momentum for them to face the giants, the ultimate giants in the professionals tournament. And we're going to be following Raid tonight. So the next round, they are going to be facing one of the best teams on the EU server, which is the Pink team. So if they can win this round, they will have some confidence coming into that round. And they really need that, because they are widely tipped. Not to win against the Pink team, but I have faith in them. I believe they can do really well, and already they're better than what they were when they were against IGRA. This is a more confident, Raid team, and we would love to see an improvement for Raid, and we want to see Raid continuing to grow in the autumn season. And we go back to Jokes, red team from the north spawn, Raid blue team from the south. Okay, so we have CK Rika and the Type 71 looking to go into the bush to get some spots up. Raid going mostly to C, and a couple of times taking the left lane to take a look at B, potentially trying to get into B if it's permitted. But Sinkia Nika already spots some tanks up and get shot at by blue. This is an okay start for both teams, but Raid gets a hit point pool advantage, and we can see Raid going... No? They're stopping for a moment. They are now going to B. Jokes is now in trouble. They have to reset B or try to find a way to push. But we could see some rotation going on. Machinek and also Bao1. Bao1's not coming to help Machinek. I don't think it's the best choice here by Bao1. That could certainly get Naro off the way. We could see a big shot coming in onto Naro, or will he just ignore that entirely? We could see Raid already pushing in. Sinker Nika in deep trouble. Gets taken out by Old School. And blue is the focus for Jokes. Jokes needs to get all the shells in, and Bao1 is switching targets because Vanu will get that killing shot. It's the case. Look at the big shots coming from the VK, but they need to focus fire. Jokes' focus fire is a bit off at the moment. Raid's focus fire is so far better here. Hitaku's now dead. Norman's down to a one shot. Sick is getting shot at. Norman is down. Drizzle is down. Bao1. Great shot onto Sick. And Vanu puts a shot into Nixie, and Marchinek will not be long for this moment. Sick gets down to a one shot. Marchinek is now dead. Vanu is trying to ram into Old School, but will get Sick out of the way. Bao1 needs to find a target to focus, and it will be Messi. It will be a big shot into Messi, a double tap there. Vanu is trying to chase the rest of the Raid's team, but Raid is making it difficult for Jokes to focus fire. But that's a great killing shell onto Messi. But it's a bit too much for Jokes to handle here. Vanu is a one-shot. Old School can pretty much kill Vanu, but it's an important bounce for Vanu. Another miss from Naro. This is going to be really close. It's pretty much boiled down to 1 versus 1 now. El Polaco was trying to connect with Bao1, but look at this this trampling here. El Polaco being trampled on by Nixie, meaning he is now a one-shot. Bao1 puts a great shot into Naro, but you can't fight 1 versus 3 here. Nixie gets shot at by El Polaco, but I think Bao1 bounces onto Naro. Is it the case? No, this is not the case. He is going to kill Naro, but I think it's all over for Jokes. Raid gets the second win, and they really need that, to be honest with you. Bao1 needs to land their killing shell onto Nixie. It's a high roll though, but it's not enough to kill Nixie, and it's going to be Old School potentially getting Bao1 off the way. It's the case, and well done to Raid. That's a great match. Love that how they committed to the push, taking Sinki Afrika out. The focus fire of Jokes is off in this one. They are going for a couple of different targets. It's not the Jokes we saw against First Alliance. They were so good against First Alliance, but this is not really the Jokes I know of. This is a little bit slack. This is slack, and I hope they will improve on that. I know they can do much better than this one, but they looked a little bit discombobulated and really in control of the entire situation, and they truly deserve to win this one. This brings it to a 2-1, and Jokes, not the time to go on tilt. Although they were very close in winning their second match on Camstia, I hope that doesn't affect them a lot, and we could see Sinkarnika doing 0 damage, sadly, which is not nice. Yeah, I mean, this looks like Jokes is on, it's going down a spiral, and they need to get themselves out of this. It's like they are trapped in a rip current, and if they don't try to swim sideways, then they will be drawn into the open ocean, and that's not good news. Jokes is in this situation. They are getting drawn into a rip current, and they need to figure out how to get out of this rip current here. And Raid so far now on the good momentum. Can they capitalize that and win another match, putting Jokes in an even more dire situation? We'll find out in the next one. Hope this is going to be the turning point for Jokes, and it will be good for them to start making a comeback. I believe in them as well. Jokes, double VK, quintuple type 71s, Raid. I think they're going for the same setup as last time. Okay, this time Jokes is doing something different. They're going into A, and Raid is going mostly to C again. But will we see Jokes getting the cap lead this time? We'll find out soon. Both teams do not have a light tank, but it's Dynasty's Pro. The light tank or the medium tank is not going to matter a lot here. Raid, we can see Raid again being a bit defensive on C. Are they going to try and get B quickly here? Jokes will get A more quickly than Raid does get C. So this means Jokes will get a cap lead and Raid will try and put their forces onto B. This is going to be an interesting call. Can they do this one? But Sinker is absolutely in position to reset B. But he has taken some hits already in doing this. Jokes, they don't want to lose more hit points. Raid, they got C finally. Oh, that's a good shot to Nick C from Marcinek, I believe. It's a HE splash, I suppose. Raid is now going to send the entire team into B. We've seen this before. Is Jokes ready for this? Can Jokes try to get the shots into B? Marcinek, I think that was a bounce here. I don't think Jokes is able to stop Raid in capturing B. There are like 4 tanks into B and now Raid is pulling back. That also meant Raid has lost some hit points in capturing B, but they haven't lost too much for that to be significant. Marcinek takes another hit here, and it's now still close, still anyone's game to call. But you can feel the pressure of Jokes because they only have around a minute left before they absolutely have to push. But Raid is making it difficult for Jokes to whittle their hit points down. I mean, this is pretty much Jokes. On to Jokes whether they can make this rotation. They have to be decisive in that rotation. I have to emphasize, if the situation looks dire, I mean, Raid definitely in positions to defend their cap lead. This looks really tough for Jokes actually. But Jokes has trained in this situation a lot of times. We are looking at the top 8 competition. We're not looking at a common Pro skill tournament situation. So what is it? So Jokes definitely they will know how to tackle this, but they have to be decisive. They also don't want to narrow down their flank too much. We'll have to see. The double VKs are cautiously pushing, and Jokes, they don't have a lot of time. Already 800 cap points for Raid. But I'm not sure if this is a good push though. VKs are pushing in a little bit too early potentially. But Old School is on fire. I can see now Jokes going to push going to have the entire team in B, leaving potentially 2 tanks into B. Great call. Old School is in trouble. And I believe Marcinek is going to put a big shot. Oh, it's a bounce here. Old School is dead, however, but the hit points are in favor of Jokes. Jokes, they will get Drizzle out of the way. Marcinek is also down, however, but B has been obtained by Jokes. The cap points are in favor of Raid still, and Jokes has to kill the tanks out of the way. And Raid, they can clutch this if they can kill Sinker, but they also killed Vandu. They are very close. If Sinker is not able to survive, this is all over. But Nixie is killed. That's going to give Jokes the lifeline. This is still pandemonium as we speak. Messi's down to one shot, and oh, Sid bounces that shot. Messi has to get the care of Nika out of the way, but he couldn't because Messi gets killed by Tikaku. But with R1 instead, this is flipping back and forth, and Naro needs to survive. Bow1 is pretty much isolated there. Jokes is almost there. Jokes got Naro, and it's now 4 versus 2. Raid, I think they will lose this one. And we have it. Jokes gets the win. The VK was the bait. In the end, they didn't push too early actually. I think Raid just got a little bit distracted there. It wasn't a major mistake by Jokes. The VK actually pushed in a timely manner. I would have wanted the VK to push in slightly later, but that's not important at all. Because what's more important is that Jokes got the focus fire back. They got their shots in, they got their hit list sorted well this time. They didn't go down a spiral. They swam out of the rip currents, and they have tied Raid back 2-2. This is still anyone's game to call. It's going up so evenly, and we love to see it. Raid. I think they have to be like Jokes in the last match. They have to kind of get they need an objective. That's what I'm saying. They need an objective. They didn't really have an objective apart from defending the cap lead, but that's a broad objective, a kind of an objective that you want to get ultimately, but they lack of a plan to reach that objective, to be honest with you. So they have to be focused, they have to be concentrated. They can do it. It's not over yet for both teams. Jokes got one back, and that's what matters for them the most. That will bring them the confidence they sorely needed after the 2 defeats they had earlier, and they got it back now. Jokes, we are now on to Middleburg. We are seeing Jokes going with 6 Tuber Type 71s and 1 WZ113s. And Raid, we will be seeing quadruple types VK, WZ, and IS4. And we will go back in. Who will win this one? I'm going to end the poll. Some people voted. You guys have voted for the option of 2. 51% of you think that Raid will win 2 rounds tonight. There is a significant portion thinking that they will win no rounds tonight. So far, it can go either way, but we'll go back up and see. Jokes. Now it's Marcinek in the Type 71. He will go up and try to get to you. Ooh. Well done to Raid. Raid was able to blind fire the tanks going up the hill. 2 tanks have taken a hit though, and that's more than enough, to be honest with you. That will bring Raid a good start. They didn't know this though, so I will give them the benefit of doubt, and they just have to make sure they don't lose to the hit points, especially when Marcinek is so far ahead of the rest of the team. If Raid is able to prevent Marcinek from getting the support they need, it's going to be important. Now Raid knows that they've made some blind fire onto the Jokes tanks, but Nixie has taken a hit. Blue also has taken a hit. That brings it back square. There's also the wild card here of Messi near the city side, so that means Raid, they have to be conservative. They don't want to lose too many hit points. They do not have the numerical advantage. And Sig making this move is going to be really, really risky. Not sure if I like this one. But Bow1 is now to a 1-shot. And also with Messi coming up, Jokes is now making a move to push. And they're trying to get Drizzle out of the way with Bow1 out of the fight already. Oh my gosh. Drizzle is now out as well. It's all about focus fire. Jokes, they lost Marcinek as well. Nixie is trying to run away. But I think Jokes, they are looking at 2 different targets here. Can they consolidate though? Can they make it work? Not sure Vanu needs to get Nixie out of the way. It's going to be really close, but Raid has the upper hand with the with the hit points. Vanu is out. Nixie's still alive, but barely. It's 4 versus 6 now. Synchronica down to 1 shot, removed by Old School. And we could see Tiktaku getting the shot into Nixie, and Norman is now killed by Blue. It's now 2 versus 5. Old School 1 shot, but Jokes, I think, again, like the first match on Dynasty's Pearl, their focus fire wasn't as on point as Raid. Raid definitely was in good control, even though they are defending the push coming from Jokes, and well, and I also like that now. Is it narrow? Is it one of the Type 70 ones? That tank rotated almost immediately to connect with the 113. I thought the move from 113 is a bit too aggressive, but they clearly had the plan in mind, and this is what I talk about an objective. They found a plan to reach that objective, and look the difference that it makes for Raid. And it's now 3-2 for Raid. They are now on a match point. And if Raid wins this one, they will get the first round win. And Jokes, they're close. They're really close, but they are going to be taking quadruple Type 71s and the WZ Wolver 3s. We will be seeing no substitutions. Raid, on the other hand, back with quadruple Type 71, 1 IS4, 1 VK, and 113. So pretty much the identical setup as last match, as I'm seeing at the moment. And thank you for the 44 people watching so far. I think it's the highest record I have with an EU stream this season. So thank you so much for tuning in and seeing all the action unfolding upon our eyes. We will go back to Middleburg and we'll just get one back. I think a major issue for them tonight is that they got quite confused with the focus fire. It's not like they don't know focus fire, they definitely know focus fire. Against First Alliance, their focus fire was pretty much on point and one of the best I've seen. Tonight is not that they haven't found their form yet. They haven't found their best form yet, and it looks a bit worrying, to be honest here. Raid is a clan that they need to win in order to get close to the top 4. And it will be huge if they lose this one. And I hope they will persevere. It's not the end though, there are still like 30 rounds to go. So this, even if Jokes loses this round, it's not definitive. But Raid will surely feel really confident if they do win this round. And they are certainly challenging for a good top 4 if they manage to beat Jokes. So we can say Jokes are going to put most of their forces near the city this time. A has been quickly captured. We can see Patrick and Marchina spotted already. Raid, this time they're going to put 5 tanks up on the hill. Blue is staying here for now. And Messi will be there to reset B. Jokes is now rotating back their forces, going back to the hill. They're going to ditch A entirely. But they have the cat lead, so it's not going to matter for them a lot. Unless Raid is going to get both A and B. But if that happens, Jokes will probably make a big push there. Can Patrick reset C? I don't think he's in the line of fire though. So Raid will get C easily. That will also allow Raid to get B, but they don't know where most of the tanks of Jokes are. So they are worried that if Raid gets B, they will get push, and this is understandable. But they're going to take a risk anyway because they want to get that cap lead back, and they're rotating that to prevent that situation from happening. That Jokes will rush on to B, and you know Jokes is not going to rush B here. So we're just saying that Jokes, I think they're waiting for B to be captured. And we could see very much that Jokes is going to push as soon as possible, and also if Naru is getting B, that will send a message to Jokes that there are at least 2 tanks near B, and I think they heeded that message. They're going to make a push now. They're trying to take C, or they're trying to get the tanks out of the way, but Machinak is going to be in deep trouble. But he has got back into cover just in time, and we can see a push from Jokes coming. Just seeing Tixaco coming in. Good shot onto Old School. They have to commit to this push. The tanks of Ray are still going uphill, but Jokes, they already have 7 tanks trying to get the Old School out of the way. They got it. They got Old School out of the way first, and they will try to get Drizzle out of the way. They're trying to use this plague here to get cover. And Drizzle would not be long for this one. A Raid is still holding here. The hit points are still neck and neck, and Jokes still does not have the cap. Well, they have the cap lead, but they don't have the hit point pool lead, and they could lose the caps as well. But they have the numerical advantage, and that what matters them the most. They also have the shared hit points, and they are doing that nicely. Nixie is now dead, and Jokes, they have to find the next target. I think they're now going for Narrow. The time is running out. Marchinak, great shot into Messi, but if Jokes starts to lose tanks, this could go south very quickly for Jokes. They need to stay alive. They lost Manu. Narrow needs to get out of the way. It is the case. Karavika gets Narrow, and we could see Blue the focus for Jokes, but Raid is trying to get a win here, trying to force the numerical advantage. El Polaco is in deep trouble. Great shot on Messi, but it all depends on when El Polaco can get some bounces. He does get a bounce from Messi. Blue is now dead. Jokes absolutely must kill Messi, but it's a bounce. And I think with Messi getting... Oh, it's Patrick killing Messi. Sick is still full health. But can he survive long enough before Jokes gets 1,000 cap points? I don't think so now. C is getting decapped, and this is going into Jokes' favor. Bring this to a tiebreaker. Jokes 1,000 cap points. Well done, 3-3. It is the case here. Well done to Jokes. I like that they timed their push well. You could argue they could do it earlier and make a gamble, but they don't have a lot of information. But I also like how they are very aware that there were 2 tanks there capping. The cap increase is pretty much evident for Jokes. I think that pretty much inspired them to push. I think this is a problem for Raid. They are telegraphing their positions. They're telegraphing information to Jokes. Had Narrow not gone into B, Jokes might not have pushed, actually. And Raid would have enough time to rotate to prevent a push coming from Jokes. This is the problem here. This is why the caps can break a game for you. This is the reason. At this stage, the teams are going to be really aware on the caps. They're going to take notice of how many tanks are in B, and with Raid carelessly giving that information to Jokes, that inspired Jokes to push immediately and cornered 2 tanks in quick succession before Raid was able to pull those 3 tanks back to the hill, especially when we're talking about a VK90, which is not a really quick tank after all. And we're now on to Fort Despair. And this can still be anyone's game to call. Yes, it was so intense you can't really figure out who is at fault. And Fort Despair, we have Jokes, Quadruple Type 71, Bow 1 VK, Marchinak, Concept 1B, and Tiktaku 6TTP. And Raid, they're going with Triple WZ, 1215B, and IS4, a Type 71, only 1 Type 71. That's a huge risk, to be honest with you. And a VK. Let's see if Raid is going to make this strategy work, but I have my doubts. but Raid can always prove me wrong, to be honest with you. We will see. Jokes, red team from the south spawn, and Raid, blue team from the north spawn. We are going to be seeing Raid getting mostly to A. And I think they're going to send the triples and 1-3s to brawl the Type 71s. Is this the brawl that the Raid wants? 1-3, they don't have... I mean, they have okay armor, but if we compare it to Type 71, Type 71 all the way for me. And this can be important. Monstercat can be crucial in how down that comes at 1B. And he's actually raining terror onto these tanks. And another great shot to Messi. Raid is dropping hit points now. That is pretty much due to Monstercat in this position. And that continues to be the case. Oh, great shot to Sick. Raid needs to do something in the middle. They are hesitating a little bit. And I'm not sure whether advancing that deeply here is going to make matters even better. Because... Jokes, the Type 71s have more hit points than the 1-3s. Messi pretty much down to a 2-shot. El Polaco is going to come in. And the Type 71 is prepared to win this fight once and for all. But El Polaco is now down to 1-shot. But at the same time, Jokes has killed Drizzle in the middle. And this is huge. Venue's down to a 1-shot. The hit points are in favor of Jokes at the moment. Patrick is distracting these 1-3s. Great shot onto Messi. Tic-Tac gets the kill. And Jokes is steadily organizing their forces. They got the other 1-3s as well. And Patrick is down. El Polaco is down. It's a 4 versus 4 situation. Hit points are neck and neck. This is actually really, really close. But they have to make use of these two tanks of Narrow and Blue. Well, they are not really out of the fight, but they are a little bit out of the fight, to be perfectly honest. Tic-Tac will pull back because he's a 1-shot, and it's not a good shot on Tic-Tac and Blue. That was an even worse shot, to be honest with you. 4 versus 3, Monstercat gets the kill. Tic-Tac gets killed by Blue, and that's a big shot from Bowen onto Blue. Sinker Rika comes in. Monstercat needs to shed away some hit points now. And I'm not sure... well, maybe that's the call for Raid. But still, it's going to be interesting. Jokes might have this one. I think they have this. Blue is now down to 1-shot. Gets killed by Sinker of Nika. Leaving Narrow the last person standing. Amazing job. Well done by Jokes. And Raid, unfortunately, despite 3 great matches, they weren't able to win this fight. Well done to Jokes, and they are going to bring it 4-3 and made a good comeback. They were at one point apparently going on tilt, but they have since recovered. They have shown some great matches in especially the last 2 matches. Jokes 3 tanks doing more than 2k, and Raid 3 tanks doing more than 2k. I think the triple 1-3 strategy, I mean the tank choice of 1-3 is not a good one. I think if they took the Type 71, they have a better choice. Well, they have a better situation, especially if you're on the north spawn. I think if you're, I think the north spawn, getting the northwestern corner and not losing a lot of hit points is more difficult than the team that spawns from the south side. And if you're taking that 1-3 for that, I think you're pretty much asking for the other team to farm, as we could see that comes at 1B of Monstercat. That did almost 5,000 damage and killed 3 tanks. Raid, although I have to give credits to them, they brought it really, really close. But I think Raid, the better thing is they were able to organize their fights well. They were able to connect with one another, despite 2 fights happening on different flanks. And Raid seems more disconnected in this sense. So with Jokes winning 4-3, we might have results coming from other fixtures here. So we'll find out now. Okay, the second stage has been drawn. I'll update that after the stream. And we have results. Serenity has beaten Gravitas team 4-2. It's not a 4-0 win as predicted. Oh, the pink team has beaten Spirit Renery team 4-1. That's a good start for the pink team, but that is going to upset Thomas Peterson. Ikra. Wow. Great win here. 4-1 against title contenders, APA. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. So far we have Ikra, Jokes, Pink, and Serenity in the top 4. Raid, the 2 BPS teams, and APA in the bottom 4. But this is definitely not the end of the world for these 4 teams. There are still a lot more games to go. And it all depends on these games whether they are able to bring it back. But I would say this is going to be an extremely competitive top 8. And there are 2 originally CIS teams coming onto the EU server in the top 8 here, which are Ikra and also Pink. I will be interested to see how they play in the next few rounds. So for now, this is pretty much me, and the next games will happen around 15 minutes. I don't think we have time to analyze matches, so I'll take a break. I'll come back soon. Okay, I am back. So, I was just pretty much updating the graphics. You will now see the schedule on the bottom right hand corner for the second stage as well, and it's listed there, so have a look. The match is going to begin very soon. There is some interesting conversation going on with regards to Pink. This is a great question. So, how good is Pink? Pink is really good. The Pink team reached the second place in Blitz Premier Cup, and they've shown some really strong focus fire and also teamwork. They are definitely favorites for winning the Blitz Ultimate Cup, and I think we will see them in this one. Raid will have to hope that they can outperform. But, I mean, with all the expectations going on, we can also see, for example, Thomas Peterson. Very quickly, we'll go and see Thomas Peterson. The scoreline prediction here, they are predicting the Pink team to win Raid 4-0, so I hope this is not going to be the case in the end. But we are seeing the highest home team odds, sadly. That being said, we aren't seeing a lot of 4-0 wins now because we have a little bit more info. We are going to be seeing some predictions with closer scoreline, but Jokes losing to Ravatar's team 3-4 is still going to be the case. We will find out very soon, and I think we'll get into the game now. It's Raid versus the Pink team on Yukon. The Pink team from the south spawn and Raid from the north spawn. You can see Pepel and the 200 LT potentially spotting up nothing. That's not what we want to see. That is because Raid is going the other way. Raid is going to send like four tanks near A. And B will be captured by these two IS-4s here. The Pink team will get D and will get the cap lead after. No cap lead, I mean. Raid will have the cap lead here. And they will extend their cap lead with them also getting A. The Pink team not getting C at all. Interesting choice. But B could be in trouble. Because now the Pink team is close to Raid spawn. And what GB did last time is that they immediately rotated back. This is pretty much a similar situation here. And Raid is not doing that. I think also in part to the Pink team not being spotted much. Reiko is spotted, but it's a Type 71, so Raid might be sensing something is going to get really, really bad here. The Pink team is going to barrel in. We'll be trying to get the Falcon out, but Raid! The tanks are ready from behind, but is it going to be a good call here, sitting deep behind? Because all it allows is for Falcon to be isolated and going to be focused by these two tanks here. Riku bounces 2 shells, sadly, and Raid is now making a counter move. This is going to be important. Falcon needs to stay alive as much as he could, but Riku keeps on bouncing his shells. And we can see some hit point sharing here. Pause. Great shot block. But Raid is hesitating a little bit. Pink has caught them being a little bit panicky. And this is going to be important. It's all down to the focus fire and the shot efficiency. Rico finally gets the kill onto Falcon, but it's taken them some time. And they've lost a couple of hit points already. Pepe is going to be chased by Messi, but Pepe will be able to run around and leave this battle, potentially linking up with the rest of the Pink team. But the Raid's team are focusing the tanks in front of them, and Blue is going very deep there. Could be a misplay from Blue here, but he wants to get Flame out of the way. But it's a bounce. Drizzle gets killed, and it's great hit on bushing by the Pink team as well. Blue is finally dead, and Pink team definitely want more tanks out of the way. Flame is down. Nixie is the focus for the Pink team. Meanwhile, we are seeing 2 versus 2 fight over here. Papel has been taken out by Messi. Nixie's now dead, and it's now 3 versus 5. hit points in favor of the pink team, and they're making sure that their hit point pool sharing nicely. Old School is now the focus for the pink team, and there is Narrow fighting with Brain. He cannot fluff the next shell. Old School is now dead, leaving Old School the last person standing. Brain is dead, but Narrow will not last for long, even if Raid gets 2 caps. Well done to Pink, amazing hit point pool sharing. And they didn't fluster at all when they were hesitating a little bit. And Rico bouncing a couple of shells definitely didn't help the cause, but what they did really well is the hit point pool sharing and made it difficult for Raid to focus fire, and Pink's focus fire is a little bit better here. And it's the difference here. Pink team, the hit point pool sharing is what matters for them in the end. This brings the match to a 1-0 for the Pink team. Well done here. And you can see Raid 3 tanks doing more than 2k, but Pink team has 4 tanks doing more than 2k. So that's already an advantage to the Pink team, and we're back on Yukon now. And we're now going to be seeing Raid going with triple Type 71s, double Ice 4s, one 1-1B, and an AMX M454. At the same time, we have the Pink team going for double T100 LT, quintuple Type 71s, and we only have 1 minute left to go. And we will go back to Yukon. Pink team so far so good. Although I don't think they have performed their best here. A good team wins their games at their worst. And if it's against a top 8 team, that's going to be saying something. And we're going to be seeing here Pink team and Raid. This time, the spawn's been changed. The red team will be Raid. That will be on the south side, Pink team, blue team from the north. Gosh, my nose is quite itchy. We'll go in very quickly. 10 seconds remaining. And here we go. Raid versus the Pink team. We're back on Yukon. And we're going out here. What will these two teams do this time? Are we going to be seeing a similar fight as last time, or are we going to be seeing the ABC strategy? This time, Pink is definitely doing something different. We'll follow Papel here. In the T100 LT, going straight into B, just like GRS. No, he's just going beyond B at this point. Spotted up a couple of tanks of Raid going into the northeastern corner. Puts the shell in, gets himself spotted. I'm not sure if I would wait a little bit longer for more spots to show up. But it doesn't matter. It's a good start for the Pink team either way. But they don't have a lot of hit points though. They have an inherent disadvantage, and they need to trade much better than Raid in order to bring it close. But Narrow and also Blue have been spotted. Rico in that T100 LT as well, spotting up Raid, and he is going to have a lot of responsibility. And it all depends on Pink whether they're able to save Pink. I have to switch to Papel now. Get shots at twice by Messi. That is not nice from Papel. They know that they don't have a lot of hit points to start with because they're taking double T100 LTs. Raid. They have to conserve the hit points still. It's still anyone's game to call. They have the cap lead, so they can sit behind and defend Pink. They will have the double T100 LTs that could give information, fetch information for the Pink team from both ends. So this is the advantage for the Pink team. But the disadvantage will be that they don't have a lot of hit points to begin with. So pushing is going to be a little bit harder, but they will have more information. So that's kind of a give and take here. But the pink team has immediately gone into C. I think this is a little bit rushed, and if that's going to work here, Raid, I think it's a good opportunity for them to start narrow down their forces and push the tanks out of the way. And I think they're making this move here. They're trying to get Brain out of the way, but the pink team has now closed and tries to distract Raid's forces. Naur is now dead, and Raid is now barreling in onto C. Brain is still alive, but not for long. The hit points are now in favor of the pink team. Pink team has quickly regrouped, and we could see potentially a 1 versus 1 happening around here. Riku brawling with Falcon, but he's going to leave for now. Nixie and Blue are both dead, bringing it to a 3 versus 6 here. Hit points in huge favor of the pink team right now. Gat is now a one-shot. Drizzle has been the focus for the pink team. Gat is now down. Pink team definitely will try to get Drizzle out of the way, which is going to be the case. 2 versus 4 now, with Riku down. And Papel getting old school out of the way. Finally, we have Falcon, the last person standing for Raid. And Pink being very relentless here. Dominant performance. I don't think the Pink team looks like to be on the losing situation. Although they were very risky with them spreading out in that rotation here. That gave Raid team a huge opportunity to focus their tanks and push one flank. Raid hesitated a lot, and that hesitation worked in favor of Pink team, and they were able to regroup and pincer Raid's forces. Had Raid rush immediately to C decisively, I would say that could have gone very differently. And Raid could have brought this one really close. But it wasn't to be the case. I think Raid, they got a little bit flustered by the pink team. I know the pink team is a really strong clan with strong players that could get all their shells in. I mean, Riku, you know, he bounces some shells, but let's not talk about him. That's just an anomaly, to be honest with you. Raid, it's not the time to be flustered. It's time to rethink what they were good at against Jokes and apply that to the pink team. I'm sure they could. It's just that they got a little bit nervous, and they start to forget about stuff, and they start to hesitate. And the pink team really uses this opportunity of hesitation to overcome teams. And the pink team, so far so good. Monadike now it is, and the pink team, all they need to do is to keep up this good performance, and I think they can have it. But Rate, I believe in you. I hope you will get one match win in this round at least. I'm sure you could, and I say you fully deserve that. Just remember what you're doing. Be a bit more daring. You can do it. I have faith. I have faith. Raid got top 8, not because they were lucky or some sort. They still have to fight really hard to get in here. And this is going to be the time they show us what they are truly made of. Now we're going to be seeing Raid taking double T100 LTs, and this is going to be a big brawl happening around A area. I think we could see Messi going to be fighting with Vinograd potentially in contesting on A. And oh, it's a bounce from Pepe onto Messi. Riku has taken a hit here, but Messi fluffs the shot. Interestingly, Pink team has taken 3 medium or light tanks. Vinograd is going to run away at a good time, I would say, with the Pink team trying to get hold of B. I think a huge problem for Raid is they have pretty much cornered themselves. They are losing the map control, to be honest with you. They got A though, but they don't have the cap lead, and how are they going to get out of this? They have to rotate out in the open, and with 7 tanks trapped in the corner, I fear for them. Unless Pink is not able to spot Raid in the rotation. It's possible though, but Raid definitely needs to get out of this situation. And they are doing that exactly. So Raid potentially would not be losing with a huge disadvantage, but Pink team got C as well. The cap points are going to take in favor of the Pink team. All the Pink team needs to do is to defend and wait for Raid to push and welcome them with open arms. Raid, they don't have a lot of time left. All they have is about a minute to go. Once again, 5 cap points of increase per 2 seconds, so we're looking at less than a minute here. Raid absolutely needs to find a way to push, and they have to do that decisively. Vinograd's been spotted. Good opportunity. I think Naru's going to put a shell there. Oats could put another good shell there. That's a good start. And hope this is going to be the momentum they need. But I also think the Pink team has found a weakness in Raid's lineup here. They could potentially get Messi out of the way. Double tap onto Messi, and Nixie is also running away. Pink team is now trying to push onto B here, or is it not? Raid might have an advantage that they definitely do not want to throw away. Pause, I think, might have overcommitted. And it's now the focus for Raid's team. And they need that tank out of the way. Pause is now down to a 2-shot. The hit points are still really close. Raid has slightly more hit points, but it can still go which way. Nixie is still alive, but Pause has been taken out. We have Blue now 1-shot. Taken out as well. It's now 5 versus 6. B has been captured, and that's an important cap here. The Pink team has now more than 800 cap points. Flame needs to be taken out. But Nixie flops the shell. Falcon has to come in. Raid is hesitating at a lot of angles here. Flame is now dead. Great HE shell from Gad onto Nixie. And Naru is trying to get a shell onto Pepel, but Pepel, I think he will be able to run away. And Pepel's down to a 1-shot, and I think Nixie needs to land a shell, but he's been killed. Pink team very close in winning this one again. 985 cap points, and this is going to be the Pink team bring the match to a 3-0. Well done, Pink team. And I think Raid, again, hesitation is a problem here. They could have committed, but they were like, I don't know if this is going to work. They are very doubtful of the moves they want to do. This is really not the time to doubt whether it's a good call to make a push. I mean, you have nothing to lose here. I mean, you have to win 4 matches in a row, and Pink only needs to win 1 now. They need to go all in. Just throw away any doubts. Just concentrate, push. There are a lot of situations where Raid can push, and I think they know this. This is. It's just they were very terrified about Pink team getting positions to crossfire. Really not the time to think about that, sadly. It's all or nothing. Raid, at that point, I mean, in the mid game, the hit points are so close. It's pretty much a flip of a switch where the advantage should go to the other side, and sadly this is gone into the Pink team. Pink team, it seems to be quite comfortable in this match, and we are going back to Molendyke, and Raid needs to wake up. Raid, start winning plays. We don't want to see 4-0. No one wants to see a team getting absolutely trounced. It's the top 8 stage. We are looking forward to close games, and I would definitely not wish Raid losing 0-4. Although Thomas Peterson curses Raid, I really want Raid to win something out of this. It's just my hope. It's not that I'm biased against the Pink team. I know the Pink team is really good. It's nothing against them. They've been performing really strongly tonight so far. But I don't want to see someone losing from a 0-4. It's not really good. it doesn't look good at all. And I hope Raid will be able to get something here. And is this going to be the match that they're going to win? We will find out now. Raid versus Pink, with Pink team this time from the north spawn, Raid from the south spawn. Raid will be looking to commit their forces onto the northwestern corner this time with Vinograd in the T100 LT. Similar to what Messi's doing last match, trying to contest A and get some spots in. Oh, Messi spotted up Vinograd, but Vinograd didn't spot up Messi. Now Messi's been spotted and shoots Vinograd. Good start for Raid so far, but not definitive, as I always say. Pink team, however, is a bit spread out. They will be getting both B and C, and with Vinograd running away, the gap is going to be quite far in the back. Falcon and the rest of the Raid team will get A. We'll be trying to get A here, and that's going to be good. They need to have some cap points in at the base. I mean, to form a basis here. And again, it's pressure is on Raid. They need to find a way to rotate and shut down the Pink team. Good news is Raid team has more hit points than the Pink team. So all they need to do is to whittle down the hit points a little bit more. But I don't know if they have enough time to do so, because we are quickly going into... they only have like a minute to go before they absolutely have to push. And we're seeing Rico pinging Sector 7, I believe, is the Raid spawn. But Raid, not really stacked up, to be honest with you. They're going to push Gad. I think it's a good call, but that could also potentially give information for the Pink team to push onto Naro and Nixie. And I think this is exactly what they're doing right now. Naro is in deep trouble. The focus is now on Naro, Flame, and also Rico tying up to deal with Nixie, but they're going to ignore that for now, because the bigger problem is Naro. Get is finally down. This is now a 7 versus 6. Nixie is trying to run away, and the Pink team will get Naro here. And it's going to be the case. It's now 6 versus 6. Hit points are in favor of the Pink team, and they have a lot more cap points as well. This is going to be really tight. But the Flame is going to rush onto blue, and Pulse is also going to rush onto blue as well. And this is what I'm talking about decisiveness. The Pink team is very ruthless in trying to isolate tanks and get tanks out, and this is exactly what they're doing. Brain is coming from behind to try and get blue, trying to get blue out of the way. There is a great kill to Falcon here, and Vinograd is looking to kill Nixie out of the way as well. And it's probably going to be the case, and the Pink team very close to victory, and a kill is going to be enough. Now they have 1,000 cap points. Great job to the Pink team again. I think the common denominator here for the Pink team is that they have a lot. They share the hit points really well. This is, I think, the closest one we've seen so far. Raid, they try to get out of the way, but they still didn't. I think, again, they were struggling to isolate the Pink team tanks, and they struggled a little bit in kind of sort the hit list out, and also try to streamline their pushes. And I think this is a game that they should forget. But we'll not dwell on that too long, and I would not keep on streaming for too long, because I would advise all of you to watch the streams, the other streams that are still happening at the moment. So it's over for Raid. Raid lost 0-4 to the Pink team. Do we have results? We'll find out now. Oh, we also have results. Oh, Serenity! That is a big result here. 4-0 against Ikra. Again, Serenity beating Ikra. Ikra does not want to beat Serenity again, because Serenity keeps on winning against Ikra. And I think this is going to send a signal to Thomas Peterson to keep on predicting Serenity to win. yeah, Serenity definitely likes to face Ikra. But other two games are still happening at the moment, so for that, I am going to leave, and I will send you all to Fujit Dino that are still streaming Spit Randomly team against APA. Meanwhile, Rolling Swarm is streaming Jokes versus Gravitas team, and that is still going on at the moment. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on the Apex server, where I will first follow GRS versus RN, and then ID versus P1, and on the EU server, Tolian is going to assign me to a team. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing good matches again. That's all for me. I'm signing off. Bye!